Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So let's get into it. So as you can tell from the title below, you already know what this video is going to be about. You already know what I'm going to be talking about and my personal experiences. So before I even get to it, comment, share, like, subscribe down below, subscribe, turn on the notification button every time that I post a video. I want you guys to be notified. I want you guys to see it. So you already know what this title is about, so let's just get to it. So I had a miscarriage, unfortunately, and it's something that it happens a lot. It happens a lot, often in many women. But you know, we always think, you know, it's not going to happen to me, right? And it did happen to me, unfortunately. It was my first baby, so me and Emmanuel, we were in a rough patch during that time. My mother-in-law recently had passed away. Emmanuel's mom had passed away, and we were just in a rough, you know, time in our lives, and we were sad and we were heartbroken, right? And then we decided to have a baby, and I remember getting pregnant literally 2-3 months after, and everything was fine. Everything was great. My health was great. The baby's health was great. And I was super happy about having a baby. I think that was like the most thing that really, like, you know, took me by surprise, I guess, because I was really happy that I was gonna have a baby. Like, even Emmanuel knows, like, in our wedding, like, people were telling him, so you're ready to be a dad? Because Jenny really wants to have kids. Like, I've always wanted to be a mom and have babies and stuff like that. I'm drinking ginger ale. Excuse me. So I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about my experience with miscarriage, and I hope that you know, women out there, you guys could listen to this video. You've been through this. You know, we can all relate to this, and you know, we heal each other. And I think that's what helped me too, listening to other women and their experiences and how they dealt with it, like, also helped me, you know, overcome the pain and everything I went through. But even though I am a type of person that I'm easily to let go, like, I don't hold on to things at all. Like, I don't hold on to things. I just let them go. If it happened, I guess it was meant to happen, right? And so basically, I just want to talk about that. So they say, basically, so I got pregnant, right? And I know they say that you're not supposed to tell anybody about your pregnancy in the beginning because something can happen, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, guys, I really didn't think that this was going to happen to me. Like, I don't know, like, so many bad things happened to me in my life. Like, I didn't think that, something else was going to be added on to all the terrible life that I already had, you know. I didn't think that my luck was going to be, you know, so bad, right? But so I was about maybe 2 months or so, and I was 2 months pregnant. And I remember just waking up in the middle of the night. I had to go use the bathroom, and I remember just looking down, and it was blood everywhere, right? And I went to the emergency room, and you know, I was good. The baby was good. There was still a heartbeat, and everything was still good. And they just told me, you know, just go home. There's still a heartbeat, but you might have placenta previa, and that just means that the placenta is like really low, and the baby doesn't get all the nutrients that it needs and stuff like that. So they basically told me you could have an abortion, or you can have a miscarriage, or you know, the baby could, you know, everything could go fine all the way through the 9 months. So I had faith, and I was like, let me just be positive and just pray and hope that, I guess, everything was, you know, gonna be fine, because there was still a heartbeat. So I went home. I remember my husband being worried, and we were worried, but you know, I tried to not, again, like, I try not to hold on to sadness or, you know, things that worry me. So I was just, you know, taking it one day at a time. Anyway, every single day went by, and I kept bleeding every day for at least a whole entire month, a month and a half. Every day I was just bleeding and bleeding. And yeah, so we told a whole bunch of people that we were expecting it, and you know, even though they say you're not supposed to, but we were so happy. We didn't think those things was going to happen to us, so we already told them before all the bleeding and everything had already happened, right? And you know, my father-in-law, he's a pastor at church, and he was happy because this was going to be his first grandchild, right? So he said it all in the altar, so the whole entire church knew that I was pregnant. So it was just a lot of pressure on me. Everybody knew that I was pregnant, right? It was like a big deal. So basically, I just kept going to my visits. I kept going to the hospital, and they kept telling me, there's still a heartbeat, but if you're still bleeding, so just prepare yourself because you might have a miscarriage, or you can just go, be full term. So I just kept having faith, and and I was like, okay, hopefully, everything is fine. Hopefully, it's just bleeding and it'll just go away eventually, or hopefully, the baby will, And one day I wake up, I had an appointment. I went to my appointment. I went by myself to that appointment, and I was 15 weeks and 6 days. I will never forget it. So I went to the appointment, and the sonogram lady, the sonogram technician, she was gonna check the baby, and then there was no heartbeat. I didn't know that there was no heartbeat, but from the look of her face, I was like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? Like, and I have this hate relationship with the hospital. Like, I've always hated the hospital because I just always feel like bad things happen in the hospital, and they do. Like, I just was recently in the hospital when my mother-in-law was there, and then she passed. So it was just like trauma in my mind when it came to like going to the hospital. So I see this lady's face, and then she's not allowed to tell me anything because she's just a sonogram technician. So, and which sucks because it's like, okay, now I have to wait for a doctor to come and tell me, and just that period of waiting, like, and I remember seeing her face, like, but just that period of just waiting for a doctor to come and check me, it was just like, oh my God, like, what is the issue? Like, just get it over with. Like, just tell me what's the news, what is going on, right? And I just hated that I had to wait. So then what happened is that they put me to a room where I was by myself, of course, and they were like, oh, just to let you know that there's no heartbeat anymore. And I didn't even know what to do in that moment. Like, I literally, everything froze, and I could hear her words, but in slow motion. And the baby doesn't have a heartbeat, so you've lost your baby, and are you okay? And I could hear her, but it was like slow motion. Like, my whole body froze. My mentality froze, my feelings froze. Like, I didn't even cry. Like, I was just frozen. Like, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to feel. Like, I didn't understand. And I was like, man, this sucks, because like, we just went through a loss, and now we're going through another one. And it's just like, I thought this was gonna be, I thought this was destiny. I thought this was meant to be, and all these other minds, women out there, all these other things that come to our minds when we think about our miscarriage and what we've been through, right? So I do want to talk about this because I do feel like a lot of people, they overlook this, right? They overlook this feeling and all the stuff that we go through when we have a miscarriage, and I feel like there's women out there that could relate to this. So basically, I wanted to tell you guys about my miscarriage story. So then I went home. I remember calling Emmanuel, and he came to the hospital that same day. And we cried so much together, and I remember him telling me, we're gonna get through this, you're gonna be fine. And he was so supportive. Like, he was such a supportive husband in that moment, but he knew how bad I really wanted to have a baby, but he was very supportive. And I remember we went home, and at the time I was living with my father-in-law and with some cousins, right? And I didn't tell anybody anything. I just went straight to my room. We both went straight to the room. And I didn't feel the need to communicate. I guess everything shut down. I didn't want to communicate. And I literally shut down. So I took a bath. I took a bath for a long time. And of course the baby was still in my womb. I took a bath, and I was just like, I didn't let it out yet. I was still so hurt. I was still so frozen. I was still in shock, but I didn't let it out. And then I went to my room, and me and my husband decided to watch a movie. We just watched the movie, and we sat there, and I remember, I told my father-in-law. So my mom came, and then the cousins were there too, and they thought that we were we weren't serious because I wasn't reacting. Like, there was no reaction, because I was just I just shut down my whole life. Like, I just shut down. Like, I didn't have, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to feel. Like, I just shut down completely, and I didn't even want to talk about it. I remember family members wanted to reach out to me, and I shut them down too. Like, I just wasn't ready to approach that. I wasn't ready to talk about this. Like, it was just too much to deal with, right? And they were like, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, I'm fine. Like, I hate when people ask me, like, are you okay? That's me. Like, I hate when people ask me, am I okay when I'm not okay? Like, just don't ask me that. Like, I'm gonna be fine and everything's gonna be fine. Like, I know you want to, I know people wanted to be there to help me and make me feel better, but it was my pain and it was something that I was going through, right? Nobody else was gonna understand that feeling. That's how I thought. Like, nobody else was gonna understand, especially if you haven't been through it. Like, it's hard for you to understand that feeling. And the reason why I'm not crying, just so you know, like, I know this is like a hard story, but the reason why I'm not crying is because I do feel fully healed from this. I feel like what happened was meant to happen. I mean, there was nothing I can do. Like, it was just gonna happen. So I just had to, I guess, deal and adapt to life after this. Like, that's what I do. When something bad happens, I just adapt and I just, keep moving forward. Like, I don't let that stop me or determine, where I'm gonna go in my future. So I remember they scheduled me to go to another hospital because they asked me like if I wanted to push the baby out, and I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I'm already bugging. Like, I'm not right. My emotions aren't right. I don't know. I haven't cried. Like, no, I can't do that. I would really be traumatic for me, right? So they were like, oh, so we're gonna put you to sleep, and I was like, yeah, just put me to sleep, and that's it. And this was the worst part, guys. So when I went to the hospital and for the procedure, this was the worst part of my entire miscarriage, where it really hit me. It really did hit me. So I was in the robes, and I was in the clothes that the hospital had provided, and I remember laying down on the bed and they were just like taking me, and I was by myself. Emmanuel couldn't come with me, my mom couldn't come with me. I was literally by myself, and that's when I broke down. When I was by myself, like, I broke down. Like, I was like, man, this is really happening. Like, this is really happening to me. Like, I didn't think this would happen to me. Like, I've had such a terrible childhood and a life. Like, I didn't think this would happen to me finally when something was going good for me and my husband. It was like, bam, again. Like, it was like another hit again. And that moment when I was alone, I remember having a nurse while they were gonna sedate me and put me to sleep. And that nurse was just talking to me, and I felt so much peace when she was talking to me. She was like, you're gonna be fine. This is gonna, it's gonna hurt, but you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be able to heal. You're gonna get better. And she was talking to me, and I could just hear like her voice, like just like bringing peace to me, right? And then I knocked out, and I went to sleep, and then they did their procedures. I remember we were talking about Chipotle with the nurse before I went to sleep. She was like, what you gonna eat after this? And I love that because she wasn't like, focusing too much on what I was going through, because I guess she already know, like, it hurt me, right? So she's asking me like, oh, so what are you gonna eat after this? I'm like, Chipotle. I love Chipotle. Guacamole. Guacamole. And then I just knocked out. And when I woke up, she was there by my side, and I woke up. My husband still couldn't see me. My mom still couldn't see me. And I was alone, and they took me back to the room where I was, and my husband and my mom wasn't there. I got dressed, and they said, okay, you can go home. And this is when it hit me, guys. Like, this is when it really, really hit me that this miscarriage actually happened to me. Like, throughout all of it, I was frozen. Like, I wasn't there. It wasn't Genny. Like, I don't know where I was. This is when it hit me when we took the cab home, and I walked into my apartment. Literally, I sat on my sofa and I started bawling. I was crying and crying and crying, and I just didn't understand this moment in my life. I didn't understand why this was happening, and it was just like a pain on top of pain on top of pain on top of pain. But I was happy. I had friends there, and my mom was there, and my husband was there, and they were there, like, they were there for me. They were there for me, and I appreciated that they were there for me, and whatever. So my life, so basically my husband, he's amazing, man. God bless his soul. He wanted me to be better, and he wanted me to feel better, and he wanted us, both of us, because we both went through it. He wanted us to get our minds off of it. So we planned a trip, and we went to Dominican Republic, and we were there for like a month or something like that, and we were able to like heal again, and we healed through it, and we understood that it was just God's will, and that's That's it. Like nobody can go against it, can go against God's will, what He wanted for us, right? So we healed, thank God, and months passed by, and I remember telling Emmanuel, like, Emmanuel, I want to have another, let's try again, like, let's try again. And he didn't want to because my husband's been through a lot, so he didn't want to, and he was like, but I was like, come on, let's have another baby, let's try again. And we tried again, and I got pregnant again, praise God. And I remember being pregnant with my baby Emma. She's 18 months. I was pregnant with her. I wouldn't even speak to her when she was in the womb. Like I wasn't right in the brain. I feel like you're not right after you have a miscarriage. It doesn't matter how many times you get pregnant afterwards. You're just not right. Like you always think the worst. Like you always think the worst thing is gonna happen, right? So I got pregnant with my baby Emma, and I was so cold. Like my mom would tell me, like, why you don't rub your belly? Why you don't? I was just so cold. Like I didn't want to. Like I just didn't want to get attached. I didn't want to get attached. And I remember every time I had to go to my appointment, like I would go to the bathroom because you have to take a urine test. And I would pray, and I would be like, God, I hope that there's a heartbeat. I hope that this time things would, be fine. And there she is, Emma. Emma was born, and she's a healthy baby. And I'm so grateful for that. So basically, that's just my miscarriage story. So anyone that could relate to this woman out there, I feel your pain. I understand you. We've been through some hard stuff, but I'm here, and I think that's Emma waking up right now. Anyway, I hear you, I feel you, and I can understand your pain. And maybe talking about it will also help you heal, will also help you be better and feel better. And not only that, but you might have friends that'll go through the same thing. So just don't lose hope, and definitely talk about it, and be healed, and just hope for the best, right? So thank you guys for watching this video, Emma's waking up. Thank you for watching this video. Comment, subscribe down below, hit the button, the notification button down there, hit it as well, comment, share, and thank you guys for real. And until next time, bye guys.